you.
It's good to be welcomed.
It's always nice to be welcomed. My name's Ryan Whedon.
My name is Matt Fisher.
And we are no longer dating. Hence the name of this podcast.
No longer dating?
Well, it's X-rated.
.com.
EX, like, we dated one time. At one time.
I mean, it was almost one time. We got a couple times over the course of a couple weeks.
Yep. Yeah. Just trying to wring as much out of that as possible.
Fruitful endeavor, nonetheless, though.
Indeed.
Imagine how our lives would be different.
Yeah. I don't think this podcast would be around.
Probably not. If we didn't know each other, I doubt we'd be sitting in my living room recording this. So that's a safe bet.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's alright. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. My nihilism's up. I'll say that. I have been eating a lot of weed, so... I have a problem with that because I don't smoke it.
Yeah.
Because if I smoke it, like, immediately, I'm sick for, like, a week and a half.
Really?
Yeah, so I have to eat it. But then the only verb I can come up with is I eat weed.
Yeah, it does make it sound like, fork and knife, and you're just like garden salad.
Like I'm chewing 40 times before swallowing. Like, we just don't have the verbiage for it yet.
You can't just say, 420, or is that just too juvenile?
Had some brewskis and a 420. Got my comfy pants on.
I had an email address in high school called Smoke Weed Every Day 420 Man. And smoke was misspelled.
How do you misspell that?
SMOEK.
And that was your email address?
It was one email address. I don't know. I think I used it for junk mail.
Oh, okay. I was hoping it was to, like,
on
troll.
My college application.
I was
for more of my thoughts on Proust, you can reach me at smokeweedeveryday420man at hotmail.com.
I also have a live journal at the same address. I hope all that digital junk is saved from those early days.
It's gone.
Damn, that's too bad.
I know. I was thinking about that. Like, if Facebook gets wiped out by North Korea's
looming bomb threat.
Yeah. What if instead of a nuclear weapon they do some sort of what are they called, like EMPs or whatever, and just like erases like the cloud as we know it? Mm-hmm. Like, what would we do if the cloud was just gone?
Well, back to hunting and gathering, I suppose.
I was gonna say, the living would envy the dead.
Yeah.
Oh, Netflix has nothing anymore.
I did have a moment today. This is, I feel so first.
I was going to say first world problem.
21st century, but like my internet wasn't working for like 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, ugh! God, this fucking thing doesn't work!
Comcast, get your act together!
I mean, all I was doing was researching for this podcast. I was like Paul Rudd in Wet Hot American Summer, walking over to my modem to unplug it, wait 60 seconds, and then plug it back in.
Oh, you're bold. I never wait. Like, it's out and then it's in. Just like sex.
They say I've...
And then I'm done. I walk away.
You're upset if it wasn't satisfying. Do we want to do the... what you watch? What you watching?
I had a lot of downtime this weekend.
Okay.
I watched quite a bit.
Oh dear. Okay.
So I don't know.
Good. It'll make up for my lack of watching stuff.
Have you ever seen a movie called Cutting Class? Brad Pitt's first movie.
No.
Oh, I don't know if it was the pot or the movie. It was indecipherable as to what genre it was. So Brad Pitt, you know who Martin Mull is?
The name is really familiar, yeah.
He played Colonel Mustard in the Clue movie.
Okay, yeah.
He was also in Roseanne. He was like Roseanne's boss.
Right, okay.
And he plays Brad Pitt's girlfriend's dad, because Brad Pitt's like 18 in the movie.
Okay.
And it's like right off the bat, he goes on a hunting trip and gets like a arrow to the chest.
Martin Mull does?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like inferred that Brad Pitt might have done it, but it also might be inferred that like his crazy friend who was put away in a mental institution might have done it. And it's sort of like, because Brad Pitt's sort of a dick in the movie. Like, he's a good-looking high school jock who's a dick.
Okay.
And so he might have wanted, like, his girlfriend's father just, like, out of the way. But then, like, his friend is also crazy and, like, with, like, schizophrenic tendencies. And it's like, oh, well, it also might be him. And, like, they used to be friends. But then the crazy one took the fall for Brad Pitt. But Brad Pitt didn't have his back. So there's, like, a rivalry between those two. Okay. And so it plays out, like, half like a slasher, half like a teen drama. Okay. But half Heather's style satire. So it's basically 150% of a movie.
It sounds like a mess. I've actually, I don't think I've ever heard of it now that you're talking about it, because I was picturing like a lighthearted romp with, like cutting class. But now you're telling me it's more like chopping mall. Which is like with a pun on cutting, and then like scissors go through it or something.
Never happens in the movie.
Damn it.
Yes. Did I ever tell you about the time my mom wanted to go see Crash, like the stupid racist Crash movie? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it was Mother's Day, and this was like, a million years ago, whenever Crash was in theaters. Uh-huh. And I hadn't heard of the movie yet. It was like just been released, like none of the buzz had been out, hadn't won Best Picture or anything.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And my mom said that she wanted to go see Crash for Mother's Day. I was going to take her to see it. And I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know anything about it. Who's in it? And she goes, Brendan Fraser and Sandra Bullock. And so, like, in my head, I'm thinking rom-com. So I'm thinking, like, I'm picturing the whole poster in my head. It's the word crash, and it's broken in half. And, like, she's down in one corner doing, like, hand, like, in the hair, like, looking worried. And, like, Brendan Fraser's up in the other corner with, like, his shoulders shrugged.
Someone has, like, a raw egg on their head.
And I was like, okay, Mom, it's your day. Let's go see it. And then we see Crash, and I'm like, oh, this is still awful, but in a completely different dimension.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that, like, you immediately thought she wanted to see Crash, the Cronenberg movie.
Oh, I wish.
And you're like, okay, Mom.
What art house theater showing that?
Well, cool. Do you recommend Cutting Class?
Oh. I mean, it takes a certain kind of...
Certain palette?
Yeah. If you like The Room, you might appreciate Cutting Class.
Ooh, okay.
But if you like movies, you probably won't.
Matt, to start us off, I have a little something. In preparation to talk about this movie, I feel that these are necessary to guard us against some of the atrocities of this movie. Even though I do like it, and I will work very hard to defend it, like the said Jaegers in the film. I have brought you a tiny airplane-sized bottle of Jägermeister.
Goodness, thank you. We're gonna do this right now, right?
Oh yeah, I think these are bigger than like airplane-sized.
Oh, so maybe you should introduce the movie first.
We are gonna watch
the Jaeger.
This week we watched Pacific Rim, 2013 film. Guillermo Del Toro is the director. Uh-huh. And there are two things that are important in this movie. One is robots, and one is monsters. And the robots are called Jaegers, and the robots are called kaiju.
Kaiju, Japanese, just for like strange beast, I think is like the literal definition. Jaeger, German word for hunter, as the little prologue in the movie.
Yeah, first thing we see like gives you a little definition. The glossary of terms at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, so we're going to have these little Jaeger shots.
Oh, Jägermeister here.
Good Lord.
Because nothing says fierce hunter like black licorice liqueur
Bottoms up.
Oh man.
God. Buckle in, everyone. Here we go.
So you know what my favorite part about this movie was?
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Shirtless Charlie Hunnam.
Close.
Okay.
It was doing the Google image search for Charlie Hunnam's butt before and after and during the movie. It is a sight to behold. There's something about Charles there that I want to hold him. I want to make him a meal. I want to do a puzzle with him while listening to an audiobook. He gets my blood flowing in all the right places. I
admit there's definitely something happening in my no place when he shows up. And
I have in my notes here, shirtless with 3 exclamation points.
Yeah, well, that's the first shot we get of him is him jumping out of bed with his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that in the pro column, personally.
Do you have a pro and con column?
There's some, yeah. I mean, it's not... Is
your con column called the column?
Column, yes. Indeed. But in the column, there is not quite enough shirtless Charlie Hunnam. I would have liked to see a little more of that. Hunnam, there we go.
If you could have just remained shirtless.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually watching it today. Yes, I watched it today. Trying to think.
Well, I mean, you had already watched it last week when you told us about this, so a full 7 days doesn't seem too troublesome.
It's a movie I can watch anytime. I was trying to think of moments where they could have had him be shirtless, and one definitely was during the fight scene with Mako. It's like, just halfway through, have him take off his shirt.
And then, of course, in scenes when he is wearing a shirt, all the other characters should be asking, why is he wearing a shirt?
Like whispering in the cafeteria, why is he still wearing a shirt? Did you know his lips kind of look a little pink? I think they did some weird color correction. There were a couple times where it looked like he had lip gloss on, but not adult lip gloss.
Not like a RoboCop bad, where it's like clearly cherry lip gloss.
Kind of, actually. Felt a little overdone, but
they just need to make him look a little extra kissable.
Yeah,
he's damaged goods, but we can fix him.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I want to start by saying I really do like this movie, and I come from a standpoint of doing research for this. I realized it's come from a long tradition of monster movies and mecha movies.
Yeah,
which I guess I knew, but I didn't realize how intense people are about those two genres of movies. Mm-hmm. I am not one of them.
Okay. I
like this movie on its own merits, but apparently it goes. You could really get into all the references and things that it's paying homage to. Mm-hmm. I couldn't hang with that crowd, and I'm sorry if you tuned into this podcast hoping for a discussion that gets that deep. I cannot do it. I'm sorry.
Our in-depth kaiju analysis will have to be postponed to a later date.
I'll just refer you to the Pacific Rim Wiki, which I got a decent amount of information from. But anyway, so the premise of the movie is that there's a rift in the Pacific Ocean that opens, and it's an interdimensional portal that brings these gigantic monsters who are coming to attack, and the only way we can beat them is by coming together as a species to build giant robots that can fight them. And it delivers on that promise.
That it does, sir. That it does.
I guess I should also explain why I picked this movie, which is that I really wanted to do a CGI-laden blockbuster that I think is a cut above. In the same vein as like Big Fan, which is like, an indie drama that's just a little bit better than most. I feel like this one, though it has many faults, is actually just a little bit better than your average CGI summer blockbuster.
So I'm going to expand on that concept, if you'll let me.
Yes.
So the camera used in this was filmed on digital, and people shit on digital constantly, and for the most part, rightfully so. But this is the same camera that was used in all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
Okay.
But this movie looks so much better than those movies. It really kind of makes a strong case for the strengths of digital. Like, you can have digital film movie that still looks colorful and still like maintains like a sense of depth, and where the blacks look black. And I just think that it's interesting that the Marvel movies that use the same technology look faded and washed out, whereas this movie looks great. Yeah. Like, even, like, I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but I will still, you know, give credit where credit's due in that it's a good-looking movie. And for the type of, like, movie that it's trying to be, it excels at that. Like, it's, you know, it's not trying to be My Dinner with Entree.
Oh, you can always get a reservation.
Like, it's trying to be giant robots versus giant monsters, and it is that. Yeah. So, you know, you got to give credit for, you know, hitting the target dead on. Like, right. That's what they did. And I was at a friend's house, and we watched a movie that I think was a perfect contrast to this. Okay. We watched the new King Kong movie. Okay. Kong Skull Island. And on an intellectual level, they're about the same. Right. Like, there's nothing that Kong did that was smarter, or there's nothing the Pacific Rim did that was smarter. But, it didn't look good. Like, especially, like, the lizard monsters that, like, came out of the ground in Skull Island. God, it looked like pixels, like, you know, coming at you. And I'm like, if you're gonna be giant monsters fighting, like, why don't you take that extra step to, like, look good? Right. Like, have the giant monsters look cool. Right.
And I think there was some criticism on this one, like, having everything be in the rain and in the dark, all the fight scenes. Like, is like a way of hiding or something like that. But I don't know, like, I still think they look cool. You can still read everything that's happening.
Yeah. I'll say, I think, I don't know, I wouldn't say that it was to hide anything, or at least that wouldn't be where my mind goes. I do feel that having all the fight sequences at night did do a disservice to the, you know, the choreography of the fight scenes.
With the one exception is with that the Sydney Australian monster, whose name is Mutavore, getting taken down by Striker Eureka, which is in daylight, but it's all like cell phone footage, and it's like that's the one thing that's missing from this movie that I really would have liked to have seen, is a daylight fight sequence, but like pull really far back. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like seeing a fight in downtown Seattle from like West Seattle or something like Alki. So it's like you really get a sense of how big these things are compared to the buildings around them. And we don't quite get that. I would have liked a little more of a pullback on stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that, because there is, and it's more at the beginning when like the monster's going through like the Golden Gate Bridge or something like that. Right. Like, that gives you a sense of how big it is. Right. It's comparing it to something that we have at least, you know, a mental image of how, you know, its scale and things like that.
And that's at 1 minute and 15 seconds, by the way. I wrote that down because this movie has what I would like to call, or some friends of mine coined the term, I'm just going to take it over here, is return on kaiju, R-O-K, like, for your money. How much monster are you getting for your money? And boom, we get it right off the bat. So that's nice, I think.
Oh, wow. You must have some investment friends.
Hey, if I'm paying $15 to go see a movie about monsters fighting robots, I want monsters fighting robots, damn it.
This one gives you all you can eat, really.
Indeed.
Actually, I take that back. There is a slow stretch in the middle.
There is a slow stretch. And here's the thing. So I like watching this movie with my brain off. I realized when I watched it to talk about it for the podcast with a critical lens, oh God, you can't do that. Don't do that. Like, just like, you got to turn off your brain and be like, oh yeah, here comes the monsters versus robots is coming. I just know it. I'm just gonna have to, you know, hang in there till then. Because when it does happen, I feel like it really pays off. There's that scene in Hong Kong, the main fight between like all the robots and those two kaiju that come out, is over 30 minutes.
Oh, is it really that long?
Yeah, I like, that's a long sequence of just giant robots fighting giant monsters, you know? Yeah. And that's not even the end of the movie. There's still more to come after that. So, I think that's another thing this movie gets right, is like it minus there is a slog ahead of that. I admit that hour before is kind of long. But once you get there, I feel like it pays off. I feel like it's the patience of getting through that really pays off.
Yeah, for the most part. Like, it is cool. Like, even though it is, for all intents and purposes, a mindless action movie, the sense of payoff is there. Like, it's not unsatisfying or it's not unremarkable. Like, once you actually get to, like, where you really intended to be.
Right.
But, yeah, I felt the journey to it. Like...
Yeah. It's a little hacky. But not all the way. Because I would argue that Mako's story is different than most of these Hollywood blockbusters. Because while she is the only main female character, her storyline doesn't revolve around a man. And she has her own interesting agency. Like, she's important in her own right.
I mean, she is important in her own right, but I wouldn't say that her role there doesn't revolve around a man. Maybe I'm just I read into the budding romance between her and
Is it a romance though?
Yeah.
You think?
Oh, yes.
They never kiss.
It was there. It was there.
That's another point I would like to bring to this.
Maybe I'm just jealous. I mean, Charlie Hunnam, I just, I want to put him in the bath and give him, just...
Go on.
I want to roll him in cinnamon sugar and eat him up like a churro. There, I said it.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can emphasize enough how attractive he is.
Really, just objectively.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, I don't want him to talk. God.
Yeah, talking only diminishes his...
He's serviceable for this movie,
yeah.
But that's not a compliment.
Right, like, he's fine here. I wouldn't cast him as Hamlet anytime soon.
Oh, no. Ugh. He's not a leading man, let's just be honest. Even in an action movie...
He's sort of a charisma vacuum.
Like, he really is.
He doesn't steal the scene.
He's let's say...
If he has a shirt on.
Yeah, he's flat as fuck unless his shirt is off. And then it's like, all eyes on Charlie.
Then it's like, please sit on my hand.
But also, okay. So while we're completely objectifying him, I feel like Mako's character doesn't get objectified at all. At least not by the camera.
No.
The closest... She wears a tank top at one point. And you get to see her feet when she takes her shoes off. But I mean, that's like
the most sexual part of a woman for me.
That's the theme of this movie, though, too. Did you notice all the feet?
I definitely did not.
All right, well, this time around, I noticed a lot of feet and shoes.
Did it awaken something in you?
Yes. My love for...
fine footwear. I got it at Ross for less.
Feet metaphors. But that's like I tried to make meaning out of this, but like I tried. There's like there is a theme that goes through of like showing lots of pictures of feet. Like when they're in the Jaeger walking, they show like the feet moving, the feet of the Jaeger.
Okay.
What's her name? Mako, when she's a child, has her shoe. When Hannibal Mao dies, there's one of his shoes is left over, and Charlie Day picks it up and looks at it and tosses it away. And I tried to read into that as like, you got big shoes to fill if you're fighting a Jaeger. Or I also thought that like we have to be a whole species if we're going to fight these things head to toe. I know. I know, this is
the
paper
sound
thin.
of grasping at straws.
But why did he put so many shots? It has to mean something. I don't have an answer, but it has to mean something.
Maybe all those scenes were guest directed by Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know if Guillermo Del Toro has the same feelings on feet as Quentin Tarantino.
Maybe it's on shoes.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But it was definitely, I don't know. I just noticed it. Fill it however you want. Fill that shoe however you want.
Yeah, clever.
He also does a thing that I like where basically he's quoted as saying that he didn't want the movie to be jingoistic or like a recruitment ad for the military,
Sure.
which the Transformers movies absolutely are. They're basically like, look how cool the military is. You get to fly these planes and shoot these guns and drive these tanks.
Okay.
And he was trying to avoid that completely. Didn't want to glorify war in any way. So that's why you get a lot... Like, the beginning, I noticed there were some scenes where people were dying. You saw them, like, in the mass, whatever. But in later scenes, he tried to make sure that, like, the cities were completely evacuated. Like, the whole Hong Kong scene, that's, like, the 30 minutes one, the city has been pretty much evacuated. But he said that he was trying to, like, capture the idea of, you know, Godzilla throwing a tank, but not having to think about the people inside it.
Okay.
And still have that fun, that idea of fun of, like, watching a city get destroyed, which I relate to. I can feel that excitement when you see, like, big destruction like this.
It's like when Homer and Bart were watching when buildings explode.
Exactly.
The best part was when the buildings fell down.
But, like, there's consequences for that, right? In the real world.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like, that's nice that he's thinking in a way that's like, I don't want the theme of this movie to be like, yay, war is awesome and fighting and destruction is cool. It's like, it was more, and this is where it gets a little thin, but he said he was trying to make it like the whole drift idea with two people having to, like, control the Jaeger, make it be a little bit more like non-zero sum game where, like, everyone has to put aside their prejudices and beliefs and embarrassments, blah, blah, because we all have to get together to fight this one common enemy.
I don't know if that came out in the film, but
No,
I
God, no, it
appreciate
does not. It doesn't at all. He really failed there.
Because I was watching, I was like, why don't they just train by playing DDR? Like, seems like that's all they're really doing while they're in there anyway.
And why are they yelling at each other? Aren't they telepathically linked?
Yeah. I kind of felt like that was really kind of unnecessary. The whole, like, mind melding thing.
Okay.
I love Charlie Day to death. I think he's, like, the strongest element in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I liked his part here, but I felt like it was so wrong for the movie. Like, him and, like, the straight-laced scientist, like, their little comedic duo thing. Like, it felt so wrong in this movie to me.
The only defense I have of that I can think of is that he was trying to draw a parallel between, like, American and British relations in, say, like, World War I, where it was like, you finally just, like, put your differences aside and say, we're fighting a common enemy. Because I was questioning, this cast, in general, is pretty diverse. I mean, Idris Elba is the commanding officer or whatever, and then, you know, you've got Rinko Kikuchi is Japanese, and so, like, it's pretty diverse.
Yeah.
And so, when they brought out this, like, British dude, it was sort of like, why didn't they make him, you know, Mexican or Peruvian or something that's on the Pacific, you know,
Rim.
Ocean? Yeah, on the Pacific Rim, which would make sense. But then I think that, like, the only parallel that I can think of is that they're drawing that line when it's time to, like, come together, is that he's trying to say, like, well, this is a moment in history when these two sparring countries came together. It's a broad stroke. I'm not saying it's great, but that's the only thing I can think of for that.
To me, like, I saw him, like, oh, Del Toro was just, like, looking for a role, and he needed, you know, he was just like, oh, well, I always like my friend in whatever movie I'm directing, so
yeah.
we'll have him do this.
Hence Ron Perlman. Which,
yeah.
I love Ron Perlman, though.
I mean, I love Ron Perlman, too, but I don't know, it kind of seemed like that whole B story was really just, like, kind of fill up time. Like, it didn't really seem super, like, they could have gotten the information that they ultimately gathered from, like, the mind meld in a different way. So it seemed like it was just like, a scenic journey. Like, they took a 90-mile route for, like, a 5-mile trip.
Maybe, yeah.
Just to find out about the ocean anus. Like,
how to collapse it.
yeah.
How to prolapse it.
Yeah,
Stop
basically.
it from functioning.
I mean, that's what that thing is, that, like, little portal thing. It's just an anus. We all know. Don't hide it.
It's funny because it's like one of the criticisms this movie gets, which most blockbusters get, or movies that are aiming to be blockbusters get, is it was really lacking in the character development department for the sake of action sequences, blah, blah, blah. But so this movie has a pretty long section of character development. It's weak as shit, and they like tried. I mean, like, they're trying to do that, and then that's the thing that we're criticizing now because it's lame. It's totally when you're in to a movie to see giant robots fighting giant monsters. I want that. I don't need character development.
I mean, the least they could have done is just rip that shirt off Charlie Hunnam. And
Yeah, that's what I'm in for with a movie like this.
If there's not monsters fighting robots, I want this guy that I'm most likely going to catfish here in the next couple days.
Yeah! I mean, it's just funny, like, today when I was watching it with the critical lens, it's like, this is dumb. This is not a movie to be watched with a critical lens in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're not tuning into this for plot or character changes. I want to see robots fighting monsters.
Yeah.
And shirtless Charlie Hunnam. Like, that's what I paid $15 for to deliver, you know? And it's just funny that I see... Like, I felt like a lot of the negative reviews that I read were people looking for, like, another Pan's Labyrinth or something. Like, something that's, like, really deep and, you know, like, also beautiful to watch. But it's like, no, he can do both, you know? It's like you have to look at it in a different way, you know?
I mean, what are your opinions of the Hellboy movies?
I'm on board.
Yeah?
I've
never actually seen them, so...
I don't think they're, you know, great movies. I don't think Pacific Rim's a great movie. But I enjoy watching it, and for what it is, for what they are, they're great. I mean, like, he's a talented director. And, like, to expect him to only have to do deep art fare all the time is unrealistic, you know?
When you just want him to make more mimics.
I'm just going to say that was, like, part of his agreement to make The Devil's Backbone is, like, we'll give you money to make that if you make Mimic. And he's like, great, I'll make Mimic.
2 bug movies, here we go.
They're like... Who's that bug director? He did Kronos. What was it?
And they casted Mira Sorvino because she bugs everyone. Just kidding. I love Romeo and Michelle as much as the next person.
All right, so I've been doing my best to defend this movie. But one thing I'd like to talk about that I don't like about this movie.
Sure.
It's a real big offender in the teal and orange spectrum of like color palette. Do you know about this?
No.
I'm almost don't want to tell you because like once you see it you can't unsee it, and it's in so many movies now. But they do like a teal and orange color palette.
Okay.
Because it has to do with like skin tones are in the orange range.
Okay.
And so the opposite on that in the color spectrum is teal. And so you get lots of that kind of basically the colors of the kaiju when they're blood and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then he just balances that with the light from all the robots, which is basically an orange light, you know?
Okay.
So it's like it's almost like eye pollution though after a while because it's so boring and dull and it's really all over this movie. And whenever I see it now, it drives me crazy because people just saturate their movies with it now.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, those are like the two like predominant colors in the movie. Just in general, like the robots are just sort of like different shades of teal for the Jaegers. And there is a lot of like orange going on
Yeah.
in the movie, just in general. Yeah.
And then a lot of teal too. You'll see it all over the place. So there's even a scene I saw when Idris Elba is going to go talk to Raleigh is his name at the wall that they're building. He's literally lit with blue on one side and orange on the other, and it's just like they're not even trying to hide it. You know, it's really bad because that's just how they film things now. Like. That nowadays I'm so excited to see color of any sort. That's actually when they go to the Ron Perlman scenes. It's great. All of a sudden there's all these like greens and like weird colors. Like they changed the palette for a little while, and it's exciting. You know,
Okay,
your
yeah.
eye my eyes like light up. You know, finally it's like, oh good, a relief from this beige, basically. You know, visual beige. But, I mean, if you're going for a broad audience, sometimes you just gotta go with what sells, I suppose.
Teal and orange cell.
It's easy on the eyes. Like Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
Anyway, this movie did not do well in North America.
Oh, really?
No. Its budget was $190 million, and
That's a lot of money.
yeah, it's pretty... Especially for a lot that's being done in computers.
That's like James Cameron level money.
It did not make that in North America. It made about 102 million in America.
Rough
In North
going.
America, yeah. But it ended up making worldwide about 411 million. One of the largest markets was China. And I thought that was interesting considering the Chinese Jaeger that we see, Crimson Typhoon, dies real fast. Like, it's like on the scene, gets in 2 punches, and then they're gone. Do you think there was some homoerotic tension between
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough.
Raleigh and the Australian guy, whose name I didn't write down? Oh, I did. Chuck Hansen.
Raleigh and the Australian guy.
The younger Australian.
Oh, yeah.
They have a fight sequence, you know. He gives them a little slap. A backhanded slap while they're fighting.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of fun.
I would watch that porno. Definitely.
You know there's slash fiction out there.
What's the name of that short Guy Mad movie? Sissy Boy Slap Fight?
Yeah.
We should remake that movie with those two. I haven't seen it, but...
You're being really good with the callbacks tonight. Proud of you. Okay, and so just to bring everything full circle, because we did talk about this in the intro, are electromagnetic pulses a thing?
Oh.
Like,
I don't know if they're a real thing, or if you can actually, like, make a bomb from them. Like, I think they're a thing in that, like, if your, like, battery blows or something in your, you know, nuclear silo, then, like, yeah, it might, like, shut off things in, like, a 600-foot radius, but I don't think you can, like, disable a whole, like, city or something.
yeah, I just feel like I keep seeing them. Like, it was in The Matrix.
It was in Toy Soldier.
It was in
Soldiers.
It's like, it seems more like a convenient plot device.
It's a way to blow stuff up without actually blowing anything up.
Yeah.
Like, it shuts off everything, but doesn't, like, destroy the surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's like, what are, like, the dirty bombs that they use in movies, too, that, like, just kill the people and not the buildings? Like, you know...
That's convenient.
Yeah, it makes it really easy to do, like, a dystopian movie when, like, the bomb you set off, like, only destroys humans and not buildings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's actually a thing, but...
Neither. That's about
We're
all I
not
can
science guys. That's not
If anybody out there has experience with electromagnetic pulses,
Yeah.
especially in the form of weapons,
Yeah.
or biological creatures that can somehow do that, like in this movie, please inform us. Because
Yeah, what if North Korea's, like, arming, like, a swarm of, like, bumblebees?
I was picturing tuna, but yeah, sure.
How would tuna get into city limits, Ryan? Be real here.
They just do it through the water.
At least salmon go upstream.
Okay, salmon.
You think North Korea can afford salmon?
I guess in closing, insofar as that Hollywood CGI-laden blockbusters is a genre, this one's a cut above.
Agreed.
Okay. Today when I was walking the dog, I'll probably cut this out. The dog had 2 poops, and when the second one started, I said, "Oh, a double event." Just like in the movie.
Are you timing it it's only a matter of time before there's 2 in one day?
Yeah. That's why I always keep 2 bags with me.
I miscalculated.
Ugh. Don't want to deal with double events like that. You don't want to be unprepared for a double event, is what I'm saying.
Are you one of those people that will diligently pick up your dog's poop no matter what?
Yeah, even if I don't have a bag, I just use my hand.
No! Get out of here!
No, God,
you are not allowed to touch anything.
No one does that. You just go, "Ooh," and then you walk away.
Yeah.
Like, look at the neighbors like, "Sorry."
Okay, good.
Gross. I gag using the bag. I'm like, "Ah."
I feel the same way about condoms.
Picking them up off the street? Yeah, that's disgusting. Don't pick up used condoms off the street anymore, Matt. You can...
How will I know if they're used until I pick them up?
You don't have to rinse them out and use them.
I can't just eyeball that shit. You want to hear what I'm going to pick for next week?
Oh, yeah.
So I feel this week we went big.
Yeah.
We went for...
Maybe too big.
Spectacle, right?
Uh-huh.
So this week I want to go intimate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go small. Okay. Like a sweet whisper in your ear. I want to watch Starting Again, a.k.a. Tears and Laughter.
Oh, no.
The Joan and Melissa Rivers story.
Oh, no!
Starring, wait for it, Joan and Melissa Rivers. The made-for-TV docudrama.
I don't want to watch this again. But I will, out of a sense of duty. Okay.
Junk plugin?
Junk plugin.
Follow us on Twitter at X-Rated Movies.
It's the most happening Twitter account on the net.
Like our Facebook page.
It's Rated X Movies.
Yes, because of Facebook's weird parental guidance issues.
Yeah.
Email us x.rated.movies@gmail.com.
It's a real happening email address. You wouldn't know that because you don't get to log into it. But I'll put the password with the link so you can check it out. You'll all have fun in there. It's great. Also, don't forget, if you enjoyed yourself today, to tell your friends and go ahead and rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. And if you want to go that extra step, we now have a Patreon, which is just patreon.com/xratedmovies. And you can actually give us moolah. Money for this if you feel so inclined. And if so, we'd be really appreciative. That would go a long way.
It would go a long way.
So yeah, next week we've got
Starting Again, a.k.a. Tears and Laughter, the Joan and Melissa Rivers story, starring Joan and Melissa Rivers.
Oh boy. Buckle up, kids. Thanks again for listening.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.